I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. I want to tell this to you. I don't know if I've ever shared this before, but we ran the breakfast program, and this church and the great members of this church and staff have served over 2 million meals to the people of this community. And let me tell you why. The Bible says we should do it. We should feed the hungry. But when I first came home from prison, I was living with my sister, and I stayed with her for a year. I didn't have my own place, and she would cook. She was a really good cook, very good cook. And her husband was an even better cook than she was. And they would make a lot of really good food, comfort food, beef stew and, mashed potatoes and fried chicken and that kind of thing. A lot of comfort food, cornbread, black-eyed peas. And when they cook it, but when I would sit down at the table, I would not eat as much as I wanted to. I would, what was put on my plate, I would eat that. But I didn't ask for seconds. Now listen, let me be clear about it. My sister nor her husband, my brother-in-law, never once intimated to me that I couldn't eat till I was full. They never did that. But because I knew I was sitting at another man's table, I didn't have my own. And I'm a grown man, and I'm sitting at another man's table. I ate modestly. I didn't eat till I was full, because I was a pretty good eater at that time. I can go pretty good now. But I would look at the food that was still on the table, the food that was still in the pot, and I'd get up from the table. I just didn't want to look like I was greedy. I was sleeping in another man's house. I was using another man's toilet. I was using another man's toilet paper. I was eating from another man's table and plate. So I had to be very modest about that. That went on for a year. I'll never forget that. Now, my family, my sister and my brother-in-law, they never intimated to me that I was eating too much or that I should cut back. I never got that spirit, but I govern myself accordingly. So I feed people, and I put all the food on the table. Elizabeth, put all the food on the table so people can see it. I feed people. You want seconds? Come on back. You want thirds? Come back. You want four? Come back. I don't put no limit on. I feed people, and I will always do that. I do not skimp. I let people eat, because I know what it's like to sit at a table and walk away after you've eaten and still be hungry. No, when you walk away from my table, you walk away from Pastor Manning's table, you're going to be full. Now, food is very expensive. It is going off the charts what we have to pay to buy food to feed people. I'm asking you to help me. I'm asking you to give to our breakfast program. I'm asking you, see that logo there, to give to the children's breakfast program? I'm asking you to give. Help me feed people. If you know what I'm talking about, if you know that experience, for a year I sat at a table and I didn't eat till I was full. For a year, I didn't ask for seconds. For a year. Now, again, I am not throwing any shade on my family. They fed me, but I governed myself. For a year, I sat down at a table and I didn't eat till I was full. Can you help me feed the children? Can you help me feed the families? Can you help me by donating to the ATLAH Breakfast Program? Will you do that? The food is very expensive. The year is coming up now, and it's going to be even more expensive. But I want people to be able to eat. I've never turned away anybody from the doors of this church. Never in 40 years. You come here, I'm going to feed you. You want seconds? I'm going to give it to you. Until the pot's empty, I'm going to feed you. That feeling I had sitting at that table, looking at that beef stew and that cornbread, and knowing I would like another piece of it, another scoop of that beef stew with the carrots and the potatoes and the gravy, and the cornbread, thick and hot, but I got it from the table. But I made up in my mind, I'm going to feed people. Hunger is something I'm going to cure. I'm going to cure hunger. I'm going to cure hunger in Harlem, and I'm going to cure it when I become the mayor of the city of New York. I'm going to cure hunger in New York City. I'm going to cure it. Now, the word is cure, but my southern tongue gets all tangled up from time to time. Will you help me? Will you support? Will you donate to the ATLAH Breakfast Program?